Alright, currently here in the Haptic Labs Berlin office kitchen with Annette Kim.
Hello.
So we're having a nice conversation, Annette, about how to stay inspired as a photographer and a drawer and illustrator. Can you give us more thoughts and insights about that?
So our discussion was, I'm actually currently working on a design for the cover of a new book. I don't want to give any spoilers, but so I had this like really epic idea in my head, and when it came to executing it, I'm like satisfied with how it's coming out, but it's not. It's a little disappointing compared to what I had imagined. So we're discussing how the expectations of going out and shooting photography is so different than actually coming with the visual art piece from scratch. Is that the external forces for photography is like what you go out and see in the world. So there is a lot of things that are out of your control. So if you go out and shoot for 8 hours and then you come back home and you check out your photos and you're disappointed, there's a lot of things that you can like look at, like, oh, maybe there just wasn't enough interesting things out there today, or maybe I need to work on my composition, or maybe I need to like look for more like juxtaposing images, compared to coming up with the art piece from scratch. If something's going wrong, the only thing you literally have to blame is yourself. So I think that's a good motivator for you photographers out there, that there are things that are out of your control when you go out into the world to shoot, but you can just have the positive mindset, like, oh, like, here are the techniques I need to work on to make my images more interesting. So have fun and stay inspired out there.
Oh, so let's go over to your workstation and then let's take a quick look at the design. So this will take a lot of creative confidence and courage for me too.
Here's the struggles of a tortured artist. Here's my current workstation.
Okay.
So this is what I've been working on for the new cover.
Mm-hmm.
And so kind of get an idea of things that weren't working out. Let's see. So I had this like kind of honeycomb idea that just like, in my mind it was really glorious. In reality it just didn't work.
What's the concept of the honeycomb?
Oh, so the honeycomb, alright, so this is the idea, the importance of cross-pollination. To make it as a photographer, you need to kind of cross-pollinate your interests. So you need to like have interest in science, maybe nature, and other ideas to help expand your mind. And so the idea of the honeycomb for the bees and the cross-pollination, I was gonna have like bees like going from each different points in Eric's mind. And so that honeycomb idea didn't work, and I literally have just myself to blame for it. It was like maybe too many things going on. So the new solution I had was to just maybe do single honeycombs with like the things of interest. So here's a camera, and then I'm gonna have like a little bee like going out and flying around here. So overall, I'm satisfied with how it's going, but compared to what I initially imagined, it's kind of disappointing. But
Can you take us through the layers, like unmask all the different layers and discuss your thought process of building this illustration?
Okay.
This book cover?
Let's see. So first, alright, so actually maybe I'll start here first. So first I started with a photograph of Eric, and I These are all the things I had to look through for inspiration. Eric. Wait. Eric Vector. Here we go. Okay, so in Illustrator, I made a vector of Eric.
Wow, you did this all by hand?
All by hand. So what this is probably over 1,000 individual pieces that I hand drew and like made essentially like shapes, and then I like combined them. So like here, that's like one curve that I made, another line, another loop, another one here.
Wait, so this is not just a filter of my face?
No, so everything was hand drawn.
So can you uncover the layers that you're working with?
I think I had 23 layers.
Wow, so uncover the layers one by one just to show us the process.
So here, well, I did the hair just as one, and then Eric's eyebrows, and then I guess more of his hair. I guess that's an empty one. His glasses. And then you can see kind of the top layers are the ones that are important both. And then you can, you don't have to be that precise with the back layers. And then here's like the high points of the whites. I think this is random lips. The blacks. The darkest grays. Second darkest. And it gets kind of a little chaotic.
Keep going, keep going. Oh, it's starting to get scary.
And that's it.
So what'd you learn about my face while doing this from scratch?
Oh, well, it was pretty terrifying. I had to look at Eric's photo for quite an extensive time.
Where was the reference picture?
And then his face, his like eyes was like staring into my soul. Oh, it was this one.
So expand that picture.
So this was the photo I took from Eric. Oh, and then it made me realize how glorious Eric's new hair is.
Ooh, thank you. What do you like about my new hair?
Oh, I mean, it was just so fun, you know, like all the fun little layers
Zoom
of
in
the
again?
hair. Enhance.
Wow, that's amazing.
So it
So
was
all individual curves in Illustrator?
Yeah, so I think there was probably like well over 1,000. Oh, that's kind of cool.
Well, that's actually pretty cool. Why don't you save that? You can save that later as just an image too.
Okay, so it was well, one, it was terrifying looking at Eric's face for so long. And I felt like his eyes were like staring into my soul. So I had to like really work with like zoomed and like, okay, can't have him looking at me here. So then I don't want me. So then I took the finished vector, started working in Photoshop, and first I put his face down. I broke it into 3 sections. So I broke it into like his lower half, his upper half, split that, and then I actually inverted his head. So this is actually his left side and that's his right side, but I mirror flipped it.
Interesting.
Because I thought the darker color actually looked kind of cooler. And then took his eye, enhanced it. Can
you close and open the layers again, like the one by one layers on the right side? Oh. What are those 2 designs in the background? Zoom in?
Oh,
So what is that illustration on the top?
So this is one of Eric's many charts that I had to redo because it wasn't very accurate, and it just needed to be redone.
Why did you decide to use this image as part of the collage?
Oh, well, I just thought it was a very beautiful image, you know. So I actually had handpicked. I went through his website and handpicked a good amount of his charts.
Oh.
So I went through and decided to choose the most ones that I thought were really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That one got chosen. That one, and I believe this guy.
Hmm.
And then I did change the colors to for a palette I thought would look better.
Mm-hmm.
So I changed to kind of these more vibrant colors, and then let's see. There's another chart. Oh, and this one was quite fun. And then I did some filters, and then that's the one. And then I did some filters to make it interact with the images. See, the filter.
And what's that thing in the my arm with the coffee cup?
Oh, this is.
Why'd you add that?
'Cause I looked all my references of Eric going through choosing which one to do. So many of them he was holding a cup of little cup of espresso, and I just figured that's like almost like trademark Eric. When I think
lots of coffee.
When I think of Eric, yeah, he's always just drinking a ton of coffee. So I figured that was pretty integral to what is going on in the mind of Eric. And then that's what the idea of this cover is, you know, kind of what's going on in Eric's head. So this is like the concept is like the deconstructed head of Eric. So if we were to split his head open, don't do it, and cut it open, this is what I imagine it to be inside.
So what kind of advice would you give to illustrators or people working maybe with digital art who just feel disappointed in themselves, where it's like, I'm trying to make this art that's in my mind and I can't make it look the way I wanted it to? How do you keep people to stay encouraged?
I mean, it's always a process. I mean, it is. I do have fun, you know, trying to rework the idea I had in my head and onto in reality, and kind of like, you know, this background. I actually didn't plan this at all. It just kind of happened naturally, and it was a very fun process. And you know, when things aren't going right, you have literally no one to blame but yourself. So you could look at that as you know, disheartening, like, oh man, like I suck, there's nothing I could do about it. Or you can just change your attitude about it, like, okay, like, you know, if I keep working at this, then I'll be able to create what I had in my mind. So I think anyone who, you know, becomes extensive in their field, they didn't pick up those skills and knowledge overnight. It all happened, you know, through, you know, a lot of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, and, you know, the right attitude too. And I feel as if art, it's a beautiful struggle. I'm challenging myself, but I'm still having fun at the same time. And I think once you lose your ability to have fun in something, you kind of lose that drive and passion too. So just treat everything as your creative playground.
Art is a beautiful struggle, and treat it as your creative playground. Sounds good. Okay. Good job, Anna. I'm so proud of you. Mwah.